You go?
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up the Economic Development Commission meeting for, what is the date today?
10/22.
October 22nd, 2025. Basically, the purpose of this meeting is our organizational meeting by, I believe, state statute, correct, Don?
Correct.
Do an organizational meeting to get things kicked off. So I'll just go through the EDC members. Dawn Mason, she is representing the school board, and she is appointed by the county. Dave Jacobs has been on here for a while, I think since I've been here, and prior to that.
Since that's the beginning,
Yeah.
I both.
Yeah, Dawn, you was on here too, same, that's 2020 then?
Yes.
Okay. And Jay is appointed by the mayor, and then Chris Clevenger is new, and he is appointed by the city council. I've not really sat on much of an EDC meeting because at the time I was part-time, and Steve was here doing that part of it, so a lot of this is gonna be new to me, so I'm gonna kind of lean on Don a little bit on how an EDC functions. I did read up on some things. We had point of president, vice president, and the treasurer.
But you can hand it off to Don for that, right? You don't mind?
You can nominate this for somebody wants, is anybody volunteer?
Yeah, do they want to volunteer or voluntold?
Nomination, Dawn as president.
Second.
Second.
Motion second for Dawn to be president. All in favor?
All right.
All opposed?
We have what, secretary and treasurer?
Vice president, treasurer?
Vice president, treasurer, that's right.
So vice president would be next.
I nominate Jay Jacobs for vice president.
Second.
Second.
Motion for Jay Jacobs as vice president. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Now a treasurer. Now is that by member or is that by?
No, that would be by member.
treasurer?
When we get into, if you get into the bond financing, the treasurer has the worst job, so just so you know. That's the treasurer is a person on board. They have to sign a bunch of stuff. It's most.
Chris, is that something that interests you?
No. No, I did that for 2 years at Blackford County.
I heard experience.
It's not fun.
Maybe it won't be as rough here
Okay, whatever. That's fine.
though. Is that a nomination then? We'll have to have a nomination then.
I nominate Chris for treasurer.
Is that a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Chris is treasurer. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, now what do we do next?
Well,
Take it over?
that's pretty much it. You might explain, the EDC gets primarily involved in tax exempt bonds for financing, and you might explain the potential project that's, Mr. Mayor, that's kind of on the table right now.
Well, a couple, I guess the biggest one would be bond aluminum. We're still, I know the READY committee allocated 2.3 million for that project, but it has to go, it's been approved locally, but it has to get the sign off from the governor and the Indiana State IEDC. We're not to that point yet. We are working with the owner. The intentions was to give us that property. And we would use that property as our, kind of our collateral or down payment towards this grant. Well, the owner's kind of changed his tune just a little bit and decided that he might want to develop that site. And if we go down that path there, that could affect a little bit of the ready money. It could, lower that. We don't know by how much right now, but we're still working with them. We got some meetings set up. But we do want to get a TIF district set up from Bond Aluminum all the way into the old Universal Tool Building. Because if we can get the Bond Aluminum down to almost to a zero tax dollar, and then they end up going and putting in a $20 million investment, we can capture some of that TIF off of that. Couple of lots have sold out there across from McDonald's, so there's some traction going there. So if something happens there, we want to be able to capture that money as well. And if anything would ever happen on the old Universal Tool and Stamping, as far as added production or whatever, we'd like to be able to capture some of that as well. So we've talked with Anton when he was here, with economic development. Andrew and I have, that'd be a good start to create a TIF district, would be on that west side.
We would see most commercial interest on that side, which is why we would want to put a tip in to gather some of that. So, if it goes from, say $10,000 of assessed value up to $100,000, we're going to collect on that difference, but we need to get that tip in place in order to set a baseline. Obviously, the Economic Development Commission has nothing to do with TIFs, but good for you guys to know it's a financing technique, and what the Economic Development Commission has is abatements. And we can go over more of that here in a bit once the mayor's done explaining the projects.
I guess most of the stuff that I knew what EDC was and Dawn, and yeah, you guys are correct, but I think most of the time it was tax abatements coming, was Color Master, Multimatic, Therma-Tru. That was what you guys mostly saw.
Saw one or two residential.
That's right. Were you guys part of the tax abatement down here down by the nursing home?
Yeah, there was one back in the middle area.
Okay.
There's a lot.
Yeah, we did, tax abatement for anyone that bought a new house. We gave them 100% the first year, 2/3 the second year, and 1/3 the third year. And then after 3 years, it comes with the whole tax. My understanding that a developer bought some lots here in Butler last year, or it was given.
On the infill lots? Yeah, what that was we had, this started in 2023, we had like 53 lots here that the county owned. And we had been mowing a lot of those lots for 6, 8, 10 years. So I went over to the county and said, if we're gonna provide the upkeep, we should own it. And the commissioner says, I agree. So they ended up deeding 48 out of 53 lots over to us. The other 5 lots wasn't really any value to it, so we didn't want those. So we finally took, it was 23, we got them deeded over to us, and then just last month, it was a year-long process, we sold 10 of the lots off to Carico Homes out of Fort Wayne. And then the other 9 lots were a bunch of jagged, thin lots along the railroad down by the old youth center. Mark from Ace Hardware bought those, and he wants to put a storage building up there.
Yeah, he already has storage buildings down there, so.
Yeah, well, at his place he does, but he'll put storage buildings across the road just for his Ace Hardware. Yeah, an individual owns those other storage units. So there was 19 lots that we sold, and I think we netted $75,000 out of those 19 lots. So not bad considering, I don't say they was given to us, we kept upkeep on them for up to 10 years, you know, so we did have some expense later. So Caraco, when he closed on that last month, I thought he wanted to get a couple houses started yet this year. But I haven't seen him break ground, haven't seen any permits come through, any locate, so I don't know what his intentions are. So,
There is a new house being built on Monroe now.
yeah.
I have no idea who owns it, who's building it.
That's the
Michelle Dahl had it for like 20 years. It was for sale for almost 20 years. She died,
Yeah,
then her son decided to sell it. Sold it to Brad Peppel out of Hamilton. So he's building it just to flip and sell. Now, if you notice too, last year at 305 North Broadway, where Mike Van Zyl used to live, Noah Schwartz bought that and put in a ranch style house. And then Noah Schwartz also bought a lot east of the gas station down here, the old Arco. And he put a house in there, built that 1,200, 1,300 square foot. So
We've also got Dennis Miller, he's. putting
yeah,
up
the
new
Dennis
houses.
Miller bought the one down on,
Liberty. And a couple others.
well, the first one was on Westward
Yes.
behind me. He bought that one, sold it, and then he went ahead and bought another house over on Liberty that was unfinished. The contractor started it, caught the crew sleeping on the job, so we fired him. Then he sold the house unfinished to Dennis Miller. He's finishing it up. He wants to put 2 more houses next to it on that one lot, but it's a pretty small lot to put 2 houses on there. By code, I think he can do it.
He can do it, it's just they're gonna be small. So I'm trying to get a hold of the owner of the next lot over. I'd rather him get 2 lots and put 3 houses, you know, like, all these empty lots, we're trying to get cycled out and get things put in. It's infill, we need infill.
So Jay, you brought that up to that builder. Are you looking at possibly that would maybe a tax abatement on something that we could?
I would, for the new builder, yeah, I would think that would be an incentive to him to build houses over here, and for us to give whoever buys the house a 3-year tax abatement. 90% the first year, 2/3 the second year, and 1/3 the third year. That's what we've done for years.
So we've done that more of a location. Can we do that spotty on throughout the, okay.
Yeah,
I think Caraco's coming here no matter what.
yeah.
Because he's already bought the lots, but
Yes.
we do have a couple other things in the works that possibly could work out. I mean, it's still preliminary, but we have a builder interested in, city owns 10 or 12 lots down by Southside Park. So if you pull into Southside Park and you look to your right, you've got that I&M pole power line going down there.
Right,
We own all that through there, and there's a setback of 30 feet on each side of that electrical line, but there's still like enough lots to build 10, maybe 12 houses through there, and it'll wrap back around to Hickory Street as well. And they're looking at that. The problem is we don't have infrastructure there, and it's gonna cost probably over $1 million to put infrastructure in there. So we've talked to them that if you put the infrastructure in there, maybe we can, and this would have to go through the RDC, the land would have to go through the RDC, maybe they can sell that lot to them for $1 a lot or something. So if we do that, he'd have, you know, saves $8,000 on a lot, so there's 80 to 100,000 to save. And could we waive the tap-in fees on the utility hookups? If he's gonna put the infrastructure in himself. And so they're kind of looking at that right now, just to see if that's feasible enough, but maybe to be enticing on that would be a good one for tax abatement on there. That'd be another funding mechanism for them to recoup putting the infrastructure in. What's the other one we had? That same builder we're discussing, and we did meet with Rocky Squire. He owns that property just west of Independence in Liberty. They're looking at that possibly to do housing there as well, and that would be 40 units there. So there's a lot of things trying right now in the works that we've been getting in the works the last 3 months or so.
Post.
Yeah, okay. And then Andrew and I met with Britton Post a couple of weeks ago. He has South Shore Mobile Home Park. And by the way, that was drawn up in 2000.
2001.
If he hits 40 on trailer numbers out there, he has a 4-inch meter in there now. 6-inch meter.
Actually, I think it was all the way up to 8. They just bumped it down for him. I think
it was 6 to 4, wasn't it? Or?
I thought it was 8. Anyways, he's got more capacity out there delivered than he needs.
Yeah, so he may have an 8-inch meter here, but we're only charging for a 6-inch meter. But once he got up to the 40 trailer mark, it would kick into that true 8-inch meter. Well, he's saying it'd take 3 or 4 additional trailers, get about 43, 44, just to break even.
Plus he'd need road.
Yeah, he'd have to do the infrastructure and all that, and he'd have to have about 4 trailers just to break even on that. So we sat down with him, because we don't really want to stymie any growth. So we talked to him that could we take, and this has to be approved by the council, take that number up to 60. Gives you an opportunity to grow 20 more trailers out there, but still paying the old fee. And once you got up to 60, obviously it's gonna be more sustainable, more profitable. He can afford that jump. Because with what he sold off to Forest River, to the north, his capacity out there is gonna be about 73 to 75 trailers. So he'll never get any bigger than that since he sold off that 20 acres. That was designed to be a 285 unit facility out there. But when he sold off, he's down to about less than 75. And he doesn't really want to get any bigger. When that was designed, that was when SDI was coming in, that was supposed to be filled up, within 2 years. You're gonna have a couple hundred kids coming out there going to the schools, and it never materialized. So he doesn't want to get that big. 75 is manageable for him and his crew. But we kind of thought, why should we kind of hold him back if we can assist him in some way of growing
Anymore,
by raising that 60 limit?
any more is money in the tax. I mean, it is. Anyone he puts in, it's gonna be more money for the tax roll.
You get 20 trailers there and average 3 or 4 people, there's another 80 people in the town.
And we
have a
want
couple
more.
students there, it's back to school, and you guys get the extra income.
Don, have you seen anything with any other cities or towns that are doing these abatements specifically are they setting any kind of timelines? So are they saying in the next 3 years, we will be focusing on abatements to grow the community to where it kind of gives a push? I mean, is anything like that out there?
I haven't seen anything. In fact, you're pretty unique in having residential tax abatement.
And that's kind of what I wondered. And because there's truly a benefit for it, I see the benefit for it, but then there's the other side of it. Does it ever end? Does it need, I don't know, pros, cons, just trying to look at,
You're talking about residential tax abatement?
residential potentially, yes.
In order to get that across the city, would we have to declare the whole city like an ERA, or how does that work with residential?
I think it's just an application.
For the residential.
The residential is just an application. So I guess that's where I was like, in my mind, I'm going, okay, would it benefit us? And I don't know if it would, I'm just throwing this out there, but would it benefit us to promote the next 3 years? We will be really offering to push
Cut it off after 3.
residential
For 3 years, we're gonna do.
to create that growth, to create that movement, because I feel like there's been several years that we continuously hear about these builders having these lots, we've got thoughts, we've got ideas, but then it never happens, or it's a trickle effect. Is there a way to push that a little bit more to increase that incentive to set a time frame on it? I don't know.
And this is, I mean, just in general, as a note here, during the county comprehensive planning, the biggest topic was two of the biggest topics, childcare and housing, period, across the board. And it's fun just because what can the county really do? I mean, it's municipalities, it's where housing and childcare is really important. But, and I've heard from people at the school, we have families that want to come in, there's nowhere to live. So this is something we do need, a lot of, in order to allow these families to come in to the school system. And just in general, the whole county, that's the biggest issue is housing. So everything that has gone up in Butler in the past year has been sold almost before it went on the market. I mean, it's immediately sold.
Right.
So there's definitely a market for it.
Two things come to my mind. I remember Steve Biggin telling me about the tax abatement down there, the state or the county kind of fought back on that, and he ended up having to declare that a blight area because that's vacant
That's what I was talking about,
for
yes.
so long, because that, you know, that property sat there for 10, 15 years, no one done anything, so he was able to get it blighted, but I think either the state or the county questioned him pretty heavily on that, but he ended up getting it through. And then secondly, what Dawn was saying, if, you know, if we put that out there next 3 or 5 years, I think with Senate Bill 1, with the money that we're losing, that, you know, we may not be able to, as a smaller municipality, raise our taxes. So maybe this might be a little feather in our cap to advertise that for people to come over here. Hey, you're gonna get tax abatement. You're gonna possibly, you know, it's gonna save you some there. Maybe people come this direction because we're not raising taxes, but we are giving tax abatement out for a certain period of time.
Yeah, and I look at that from Senate Bill 1, again, there's potential of funding loss for cities, towns, school districts. So from a financial standpoint, if we can offer it early on before this Senate bill really starts hitting us, because it's going to, especially for us as a school district, we're gonna lose our local income tax dollars in '28. And that's about $350,000. So we're kind of looking at that going, okay, what is this gonna do? And from a community standpoint, can we increase this influx, promote heavily these next few years, get that in, and then again, then after that, those dollars are on the tax roll, things like that, they're hitting 100%, and it kind of helps balance our potential losses out for the community. And
What do you guys get, 7,000 per student?
yeah, just over,
So
about 7,100 per student.
get another 50 students in here, that helps recoup your.
Right, and we have seen a decrease in our ADM. So, I'm gonna be honest with you, I mean, if we can see 10 kids increase a year, or even 5 for that matter, that's big for us. So,
Well, it's big for us too, because if they move in town, then
Yep.
we're selling them utilities.
correct.
They're in town buying, you know.
I think we have to start with families first.
Yeah.
And influx our families first, then the businesses, then the, you know, that revolving door.
And I think there'd be an incentive also for the builder.
Correct.
To go and say, hey, the city is willing to give you tax
Yes.
abatement when you buy this house, because it's a new property.
Because they're not gonna have to sit on it
Yeah.
and wait for it to settle.
For the first 3 years, you get a break on your property tax.
Correct,
And, we want you to come there.
absolutely.
So that's something we definitely want to look into then.
Yes,
And get that.
What are our
and-
options?
and What I was saying earlier with the ERA was in whether it's an application, because there's not a lot of documentation on it, but the one from the past, I had thought what you had said, that area was the only area we were allowed to give that in due to it being marked as blighted from Steve. So I don't know what we would,
I'll take a look at it.
if you don't mind, that'd be
There's
great.
nothing, we could do them in mass, I got all the legal descriptions from the sale
Yeah.
transactions. And that wouldn't be a problem because those lots, like I said, they were tax sale lots.
They are blighted.
They are,
Yeah.
they are evidence of non-economic development.
Well, and down on Hickory Street area too, it's a perfect area. It does need revitalization. It's not great down there. We need to do something there. So,
And then for the builder to explain it too, the buyer, hey, you need to come before us and ask for it.
Mhm.
And we'll be more than happy to grant
You think we should contact Carol?
I think so.
I think it'd be worth it.
Yeah,
I wonder too on that, if we can, like on a builder like that, do we open that up? That there's no timeline on that? Or do we say, on your 10 lots, you need to have that done within 5 years to maintain?
I think we should put a
that?
time limit on it, honestly, because
Yeah.
you're trying to add an incentive, but if the incentive's always gonna be there forever, then there's no
There's no
real
push.
rush. But if you say for 3 years, yeah, for 3 years, we're gonna offer a tax abatement on this. Like, okay, next 3 years, I need to build this.
I would say if there's specific areas, specific lots in general that we are looking at, that Don feels that fall within that proper location, you take the GIS map, you highlight those, you create a mapped area where we're promoting those locations and those sales. That way, we can all speak to it as well, you guys can speak to it, to builders, to anybody like that comes in that says, these are locations, this is our timeline. That way the builder then has something too, like Jay's talking about, to promote to when they're selling those homes. Listen, the city has already kind of pre-approved these locations are susceptible to abatements. You would do yourself a favor by doing this, please go talk to them.
And that's
So I
gonna
think
be-
if we make the
Yeah.
data available and
It is gonna be
easily-
every one of those tier ones, as well as, I mean.
But would you do that to a one-off though?
Well, so I think
Like
we
say
should,
Brad Pepper building that one.
I think we should look around the city for any of those that are out there that had a house on them at one point and never infilled, never got rebuilt, et cetera. Add them to that map. As well as, I mean, we also have over by Ivy Lane, et cetera. Henderson has that whole,
Yes,
that whole section there. You know, can we offer that because it's been out there forever?
yes.
Let's get that stuff built.
I just showed that to a builder Monday.
Yeah.
About that.
I think any open lots that have not been touched,
Yeah,
I think,
So even if it's just one person coming in, they bought them.
Yeah, I mean, if
Versus
you-
the builder, you're not gonna,
I think Brad Peppel would be a
yeah.
good
yeah,
example there.
I don't think at this point in time, I don't think it would be smart for us to say, well, you're an individual, we wanna work with the builder. That's a bad move on our part. We're trying to get to build our community, and however that needs to happen.
The way I look at it too, that land is getting you maybe $100 a year, you know, so what if we give them 100% off, third, that third year, we're gonna get all that back.
You're gonna get it
It's just-
back.
Over the 3 years, we're gonna gain $300 on it anyways, it's not gonna make us go broke not getting that $300 tax.
Because we're not getting it now.
You still get the 100.
You get 100.
Yeah, did you guys have a scoring sheet specifically for housing?
Yeah, I think,
I got a
Yeah.
scoring sheet here, but I think that might be industrial.
I think
I
we
was
should.
gonna say, the
if we don't-
industrial one, I might, let me look and see. if
I
I
have
still
the
have-
industrial.
But let me look and see, the Timmerman one, was it Timmerman? I think it was Timmerman, one of the last residential ones that we did.
The last one we did was down the way westward at the end.
That was for Dennis Miller, I'm almost positive.
No, that
Wasn't it?
That was for Timmerman.
It was
Okay,
Right
Timmerman.
right next to Willard.
Because Dennis got one over on Western at one
Yeah,
point, I was pretty sure.
That's
So-
west of Willard.
I might,
If you have anything, it'd be great. And if not, we need it, if not, I think we need a scoring sheet regardless, some type of
I
scoring
think
sheet.
that's industrial one, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, John's great, yeah, that's the industrial. Yeah, and I have that, but if we don't have one for housing, I think we should put it together. Just so we have it, just so we're.
Yeah, I don't think we ever used the scoring sheet on an individual.
I just think we did.
We did on
Yeah.
commercial.
But once again, it's ultimately up to you guys, you know, whether you want to, you know, move forward with that. But if we have a scoring sheet, it just shows that you're treating everyone
equally.
equally.
Yep.
You know, builder.
Yeah,
individual.
there were certain questions and things like that that we went through.
Yeah.
It was slightly different from the industrial one.
And there have been, like I said, the house being built in Monroe, the one across the street from gas station there on Main Street. I have no idea.
Oh, by the
Who bought-
Sunoco station?
Yeah, who bought those properties? No one has, we have had a meeting to offer tax abatement. I doubt that the people bought properties even knew it was available.
Are you talking about the one across from the Sunoco station?
Yeah,
By the old fire station?
now I talk about the one across from
Oh, the Sicko.
Historical Society. So it's on the south side. Well, it's down by where Bill White lives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's that one, that house there, that Noah Schwartz.
That they just built that
Yeah,
road
that's probably been there probably
2 or 3 years.
2 years, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I know whoever built it, it said empty for quite a while.
Yeah, well, there was an Amish crew, Noah was, and him and his boy got in a real bad wreck, and so they was laid up for almost 6 months. Yeah,
That's why it just said.
yeah, that's why it sat there.
But
Or got killed.
there was a gentleman building houses over on, Westwood. And I thought it was probably the same builder, because he had been building a house. And it seemed like it would sit empty for months. I don't know if he was charging, asking too much for it or whatever.
That might be Dennis Miller's house.
Yeah, and right now, with what I've seen, I don't know that anything will sit. But again, at this point, they seem to go like hotcakes. So, just as a general, here's what I have. I've got, put together a scoring sheet, identify the lots that would be part of this, not new lots, but any of these old ones, any of these ones that were sold to Kirikoff, et cetera. Set a definite time limit on this appropriately as a growth movement for Butler. We are doing this for a limited time because we would like to see Butler grow. And put some verbiage together on what actually qualifies. So here's our advertisement, and here's what would qualify.
Yes.
Well,
Because there are some.
what wouldn't qualify? I mean, if it's a single family residential.
Let's say a
why would it
developer,
not qualify?
let's say that a developer came in and wanted to do an entire development of like 20 houses, 30 houses. I think that would have to be looked at differently than an individual lot needing revitalization. Or, maybe it's somewhere in the city it's just getting built, it's a new house, there's nothing wrong, it's a nice neighborhood, et cetera. I think you would have to take a look at that differently. I think we're targeting this more towards, let's revitalize these areas, let's infill.
I disagree with that. I think you gotta bring people in. I mean,
Yes,
I
and
don't think it matters where it's at or what type of home it is.
not unless we have a legal, unless Don finds that there's a legal requirement of where.
I think if somebody came in and built a $2 million home on one, you might question.
Right, that's exactly it.
Yes.
But
If a developer comes in, let's say, somebody sells them a bunch of farmland and wants to put in a 40 lot subdivision, but these homes are $150,000 to $200,000 homes, if that boosts our economy, I'm okay with that.
But I don't think you can look at that the same as these infill homes. I think that would have to be brought as a separate one to you guys to discuss. Is it 3 years? Maybe to do a whole subdivision, you give it for 4 years and you split it differently.
Yes.
Maybe you go back to 2 years. I think that you guys should have more say in a 40 lot subdivision
Right.
than here's what we're doing for infill. Here's what we're trying to get this.
And I would agree with that,
Yes.
but any individual residential family home, it doesn't matter where it's at in the city, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, hopefully you're bringing children in, you're bringing a
Yes.
family in. Now, you might wanna set a dollar limit on it.
Correct.
I mean, we might wanna say,
And an individual home.
yeah,
This is
we might
correct.
wanna say 300,000 or less.
Yes.
I mean, because really, if you're gonna develop Von Aluminum, you better have housing ready, because other than the money that we get from the building, you're not gonna gain anything in the city.
And we have a lot of manufacturing. We'd like to attract more people that are driving in every day to live here. So I would agree. I think there are exceptions, like a 40 lot subdivision, that you guys would want to analyze differently.
Yes.
So this is more of an advertisement, look, we are trying to do single, we are trying to grow single family residential, come get your abatement and build your house.
And who's not to say that if that 40 lot, if you're over an X amount of lots, maybe you don't get the 3-year, maybe you only get a 2-year.
Right.
I think there's a way that we can chart it out that gives us guidance and is very clear to that builder, whether it's an individual or a commercial builder, what that looks
And
like.
if you see some interest, you know what the tipping point is.
Yes.
Do they need 3 years? Do they need 2 years?
I think, my opinion on that, I'll use the 40 lots out here off of West Liberty. It's been sitting there off of what was considered blight before. To me, personally, I think that's a perfect one, because you're not gonna get a builder to go in there if you offer it for 3 years to get 40 houses built probably in 3 years, timeline wise.
Right.
So he may be sitting on that property for 5 years. So it means they ought to be able to get a 3-year tax payment on that house. And that was the biggest thing we had with Granite Ridge when we showed that to them here a couple of years ago, is they said, we're gonna have to sit on this. We already have 600 lots in our inventory right now, that's one we want. But with us doing the infrastructure and everything, there's a lot of money there. We'd have to get about 25,000 a lot, which is about 5,000 more than what we want to charge. But he said, we're gonna have a lot of money up front. And I think the tax abatement and stuff like that would help offset that. But I still think if you add that 40 up and the 10, we're so south side and Carico's 10, that's 60 lots right there. And if you get,
That's a good boost.
you get 4 people per house, it's 240 people. You got 2 students, there's 120 students.
But that area there, we should have that builder come in and talk to the Economic Development Commission. Have them come in, so you guys can say, what's the tipping point here? What can we do to make this advantageous?
Well, and I think that's why no matter what kind of abatement they get, I think they need to come before us so that we can understand every detail.
These individuals are sounds to me like they're gonna be more cookie cutter. Come get your abatement for this single family house that is an info for us. Here's what we plotted out, this is what you're gonna get.
I will say too, when we're talking, Granite Ridge, they said the entry level house for them, 350,000. So,
Right.
the builder out here was talking about, if they go down the south side, they're looking at, 190 to about 225 down that area.
Didn't we kind of mark out the sweet spot as like 180 to 240 or something?
Yeah, but these 2 ranch styles went for just right below 200, so they went up to 225 just because the setting of the park and there's some woods there. They feel this out here is gonna be in that $300 to $400 range, 300, 400,000, because entry level is 350 now with price of lumber, labor, interest rates, all that.
And that sounds big home.
Yeah. At all. It'd be probably similar to what's there now.
Now, something we are doing on the zoning side too is considering other types of housing, because there is lots of different types of housing now. Barn dominiums, where is that appropriate in the city? Because, obviously.
Tiny houses.
Tiny houses is a big one, because there are a lot of places to do that, and there are a lot of people who get good jobs making good money who do not want to clean a big house. They want somewhere to throw their stuff, live during the week, and then go have fun on the weekends and spend some money. So we are working to wrap that kind of stuff into our ordinance as well, and allow for those types of things. So that's something to consider as well.
Well, I said that for my daughter, a prime example, her and her husband are traveling nurses. They sold probably a 1,600 square foot ranch in Fort Wayne. They sold that. They moved to her 900 square foot house, and they're lucky to be there 30 days out of the year. But when they do come back, they want a place they can call home, rest.
They don't spend the whole time cleaning and.
Yeah.
What else you got?
This is more of the RDC, but I'll still bring that up. The Marshall building uptown, we've got that lot somewhat cleaned up. I didn't know that the EPA was coming back in this week, and they had to do 9 soil boring samples up there just to get everything clean, finish the project out. They had to leave 2 pipes in the ground because they had to do a vapor testing as well, but since it rained, they have to wait 2 or 3 days after a rain to do a vapor testing. So hopefully that's gonna get all closed out. Still the intentions are to rehab that building somehow, but we're gonna bring that up to the RDC. I know.
See what grants for historic, because it is
Looking for
historic.
grants for that through Okra, but, I know I went back and found my notes back in 21, I think, when I approached the RDC about getting that we'd like to see some type of, event space, maybe microbrewery, some kind of entertainment space, something that attract people. And that's, as I've been reading up on downtown revitalization, you need a microbrewery is one of your number 1 attractions, for downtown.
Imagine that.
Yeah. We've had some interest, a guy out of Detroit that's interested a little bit in that, of setting up a microbrewery, like we'll set up 6 different machines and say, you all come up and got your own machine, you brewed your own beer for 5-6 months, and then you say, I don't want to do this anymore, somebody else comes in, and they're able to switch that over to do coffee as well, so, but something we'll bring back to the RDC. What's that?
You guys are gonna be drinking Provine's Pale when that comes in.
Yeah. That's something that's still on the radar. We've got the demo done, everything cleaned out, we got boarded up,
And we have the engineering report as well.
Yeah.
If anyone is interested in seeing that.
What do you think on the hotel?
The feasibility study?
Yeah.
No, I just sent her an email yesterday. I contacted her 2 weeks ago and, I introduced myself, hey, this is Mike, and she started crying. I didn't know I had that effect. But her mom had just passed. This was on a Wednesday, and her mom had just passed, so she had to go down to Florida to be there with her family and stuff. But she told me she's gonna circle back to it, but, I don't know, you guys are probably aware that we're doing a hotel feasibility study.
Okay.
And what prompted it was, we've had some people ask about it. We've had the Monster Truck Museum ask for it. We've had some other people, industrial-wise, ask about it. So started doing some research, and for Lake Station to Kendallville, and I'm just talking motels on US 6, not traveling a mile or 2 north or south, right on US 6, you got Kendallville. You go from Kendallville all the way to Sandusky. Now you get around Napoleon, Bowling Green, you gotta go north or south of 6, but right on US 6, there's nothing there. So I contacted all 5 hotel chains over to Auburn, explained that to them, and they thought that was a very intriguing fact, that they're very minimal from Lake Station to Sandusky on US 6, which is the 2nd largest highway, US highway in America. So they gave me some numbers of people that do feasibility studies. So I ended up contacting a lady out of Wisconsin, and this other lady is out of Plymouth, Michigan. We ended up going with her. And so she's in the process. She come in here one day back in end of August, 1st of September. I drove around town. We took down names of all the industries. She got in contact with Anton King, Amber at the Visitors Bureau, Jody out of Heidemann, just trying to talk to everybody to see what the pulse was and what was needed. And so she's compiling that together now. Now, if it gets to a certain point that she doesn't think it's going to be feasible, then she'll stop and just charge us 50% of it. I think it was $9 grand to do the study. So she'll cap it off at 4,500 if, it's not going to be feasible. So I just sent her another email yesterday to see where she's at on that.
Where would you think,
Well, what she's looking at,
where would it go?
somewhere on the west edge is what she thought, because you already had some restaurants,
Right.
CVS, the grocery store.
Hopefully you're gonna have
Gas
bonds
station.
at some point.
Yeah, something on the bond side, going as far as that, so. Unless she comes back with something else, but she said, I think the west side would be about the most appropriate with everything already being out there. So I just have to kind of stay on a little bit, get that feedback from her. And they was talking about, somewhere around a 50 to 75 room hotel. We did suggest if it is a go, that if you had a swimming pool in it, would be a plus. Because literally there's people that would just rent that for a Friday night, Saturday night for the kids for party, just to go out there and lounge. And, when people found out we was doing that, I bet I had at least 2 dozen people come up and said, I rent a room out there, go out there and just take the kids out and do swimming pool. Not that I could sustain it for the whole year, but I mean, it just tells you the different.
I mean, hopefully we'd attract executives and some different people coming in for the industrial, you know, maybe SDI people coming in instead of staying in Auburn or Fort Wayne would come out here and stay here as well. So
They talked about maybe a conference room on there that could hold a couple hundred people, so for some events or whatever, so.
a lot of options. If it comes back.
Yeah, if it comes back feasible. Like I said, no, hey, at least we tried and pursued it. Can't say we never tried.
Well, you want me to go ahead and contact her, Paul?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll get him a letter to him, so get it out shortly.
And I'll contact the ones on the south side. Let them know that I heard back from them, for about a week or 2.
The Hickory Street stuff.
Yeah.
I'll take a GIS look at the city and kind of look for any other lots that are possibly, hey, these could be infill, these could have houses on them again. And see if we can identify some more that people own that just they're doing nothing with.
Can't think of anything else.
Do we want to, once we define this fully, do we want to maybe even put that on the Facebook or the webpage? We're offering.
Well, and I guess that's the question too, is do we want to set another meeting to clarify what those,
Yes,
Yeah, I think we can talk to the builders before we put anything out there to get
Yeah.
something more in stone.
I'm just thinking an eventual, that's something we would eventually want,
yes,
like, let's advertise it, let's really advertise
Yes.
it. Okay.
I think we would do ourselves a disservice if we did not.
Yeah.
You get Jeff Jones in here and get the paper and all that stuff like that.
I think that, well, if you're golf, that'd be a selling advantage for them.
It's an additional
Say, hey,
promotion.
you buy one of our homes,
Yes,
then you can go
Yeah.
before the city.
yeah, because if we market it, they can market it.
Yeah, and get tax abatement.
And we would advertise more, but I would say Don can go ahead and contact Caricom now. Hey, we intend to offer.
Yeah. Get in here and build some homes.
Yeah,
Like I said, I think it's good, what Don said too, to bring these builders into the next meeting and say, hey,
yes.
we're looking at offering this. What's your feedback on it? Like I said, what's your hold up here? What's gonna keep you from starting
Yeah.
2026?
What's the tipping point?
And that'll help, I think, guide us to decide what does that look like. Are there specific price points? Is there a specific timeline? Is there a specific, what does it look like? So that we can build that out, so that there's a clear guidance then for when we do go through those, we know exactly what our plan is and how that works.
EDC is every other month currently. Is it worth having another one next month to try to get this more formally defined? And
I would say yes,
what are your
because,
guys' thoughts?
Yeah, because I think you need to have it ready to roll out in the spring.
Yes.
Spring is when
I agree.
everybody starts building,
yes,
so.
I will put another meeting in for November on the same Wednesday.
And I think we need to, like you said, Don, I think we need to figure out the price range.
Yep.
I mean, because there's gotta be a cap on it. I don't want to give them the payment on a $2 million home.
right,
You don't want to give them a big one where it's really not necessary.
yes.
They're gonna build it. If someone's gonna build it,
I'm not.
if someone's gonna build a $2 million home, they're gonna build it regardless.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's gotta be a tipping point, you know, whether it's 500
Yep.
and below or whatever, but
Yeah.
I mean, some of these new homes they built over here, that one behind me, was 297,000 and it was 1,480 square feet and the biggest bedroom was 12 by 12. And I thought, no,
You can't get the square footage anymore.
No.
It's expensive.
I mean, it's just crazy. So, you know,
Probably on a slab.
it's on the slide. Yeah, it's on the slide. You know, so, but, you know, I was talking to my wife this morning, we're almost back to the late 50s, early 60s, late 60s, when National Home out of Lafayette built all those 880 square foot homes. You know, that's, I mean, I'm from Muncie. There's 5 neighborhoods in National Homes in Muncie, and they're still all standing.
Yeah.
You know, they were $35,000 homes back then, and they were 900 square feet, you know.
So before the next meeting, I would say that we communicate some through email. And if you guys can start getting input on what you think that price cutoff might be, what you think our general, you know, offer would be. Is it 3 years? Is it?
Well, only feedback I got from Kirkhoff, and they were looking at 350, where they,
On their houses?
yeah,
No, I think it was less than that.
320, maybe.
I always thought it was in the twos, because depending on what neighborhood, I think it was gonna adjust depending on what neighborhood it was.
How big the
You could
lots
put-
are probably
You
as
could
well.
put $350,000 house down there on Walnut Street or something like
That's,
that.
it's not gonna sell.
Yeah.
This big,
You know, they, we mentioned that, or actually the realtor, Rick Brown mentioned it to them. And, they said, you know, we've been surprised, we built in other communities and we haven't had any trouble selling the houses. So they kind of pushed back and said, you know, we've done it before.
And if we do some revitalization of that south side area around Walnut, around, Hickory Street, et cetera, if some of that stuff starts falling, you might be able to sell a house like that down
I
there.
remember and read that drawing real quick for that.
Yeah.
good,
Give you a little bit of a visual on that.
But they did have a lower number, but he did talk about 350 at one point on one of the lots. So, and I don't know what 350 means anymore.
It's not very big.
Yeah, it's not a
It's-
huge house.
It's incredibly small.
Depending on where they build it, it is not,
Yeah.
not rather large. I mean, it's, you're talking probably 1,500 to maybe 1,800 square feet max. Max
Slab.
on a slab.
Yeah.
And it'll be a small lot.
And maybe that's what we need to do too, is reach out to some general builders in the area
Yes.
and just get their, so that's what I would recommend is Andrew, if you or Mike can reach out
I have it here as notes.
to just, you know, maybe 5 to 10 different
Get
local
input.
builders, get their input of, okay, on this size of lot, we can build X amount of square foot home. What does that look like as a starting point for you? And that way it gives us an average starting point, and then we're gonna kind of know our range, let's be honest. Nobody's gonna be building a $2 million home in downtown Butler. They're just not going to.
We'll reach out to the ones that also do individual houses at a time, the ones with bigger trees that can do multiples.
Yeah.
That way we can understand that price structure.
Mhm.
Taken right. Now, we can get those bought, they would like to connect that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That one there's not there, that's actually part of the walkway.
It'd make that real nice down there.
And then Dale Ravenel bought these 5 acres here, and he's gonna build a house there.
And it's right next to, I mean, that 5 acre plot, it's gonna be a nice kind of country, it's gonna be trees and stuff, so it's not like you're gonna have neighbors over there.
Yeah.
So,
We've probably had 6 to 10 new homes built in the last 2 years here in town too. So I mean, the city will have record of what those actually sold for, you know, because, and the biggest problem is right now the prices are going so rapid. I mean, the values just keep increasing every month and.
well, yeah, there's some lumber keeps going up.
let me put that up.
Terrace. The nice thing, by next spring,
See it, yeah.
hopefully,
Did they give
the
you?
interest rate, the mortgage is a good down, so. that,
Did they give you a rough estimate of the square footage of the size of those homes that they're considering? Are they
I think they're,
single story, 2 story?
it was buried, they wouldn't mind doing this, or.
Yeah.
Given options.
Maybe down here do.
Yeah, now we got one about 6 and 4.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of different here and there.
Yeah, well, it's too.
But I think they were considering that or
Kid
kid
like,
like.
well, never see that
down
now.
here.
Yeah,
So I think those are the things that we need to consider, is it a single family home or is it a duplex? Like,
And what
the type of housing.
Yeah.
I think we start there is what type of housing is it? So.
and start looking around for other neighborhoods in Indiana or cities in Indiana that have, that'll offer a kind of a package deal.
Mhm.
So 3 things I heard, we need to do the next meeting date set.
Yeah.
I'll contact the one builder, Don will contact the other, see if we can get them to that.
In here, I'm gonna contact like a Dennis and like a Brad Pepple and see if they'd be willing to come in from the perspective of single houses at a time, as in, not buying 40, not doing a development. See if we can get one of them to come in.
And then we need a price point too.
I got all that here. I got a few more takeaways, but.
Well, price point would be on the bigger one, right? Not the individual
Right.
lots.
And that's something for all of you guys to kind of mull around for the next meeting. As well as if you want to, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year,
Mhm.
100, 2/3, 1/3, if that's the structure you guys want to do. So something for you
I think
guys.
you need the builder's feedback on that too.
Absolutely.
Before we come to the next meeting, what would it be enticing?
Yeah, because if
Would it
3
be
years
3 year,
doesn't work, I don't know how I feel about extending past 3 years. But yeah, if it doesn't work, or is there a way that,
Let me see if I can put together a questionnaire to send to those builders and get us some information before the next meeting so that you guys can,
just a quick survey type?
just a quick survey.
Yeah.
And then we can have them come in and talk in more detail. But that would give us a place to start.
You say cap it at 3, so if that builder builds that last house in year 3.
Does it still, and that's
Then he should get 3
and
years.
Yes, it would
Yeah,
continue.
he's gonna get 6.
correct.
Yes.
And that was gonna be my question, is depending on how we set that up and their timing of when does that abatement kick in, right?
Well, I think as soon as application happens, so they apply somewhere in 3 years, and then it's the next 3 years after that that they get that. Right, so you have 3 years to apply for an abatement and get some houses built.
yeah, but if you have 40 lots, are you gonna expect them to build 40 homes in?
Once again, though, I think the 40 lot scenario needs to come individually. I think that's a different offering than
But
this.
even 5 lots, 5 homes in 3 years.
For someone like
Unless
here,
you're turning, well, for a
That should be no
building
problem.
company, yes, but for somebody that, let's say, buys something and they have 5 lots there and they want to build them,
But when does that timing start, when they actually start receiving that abatement? Is it once the home is completed?
Yeah, it's pretty much substantial completion, but,
So I guess if you're talking, let's say a builder comes in and builds 10 homes, they don't build all 10 right away, they start and build, let's say 2, they complete it the following year, those abatements start. Then they do 2, they kind of stagger them
right, but if
to
you,
extend. If you're approving those abatements and they don't technically start until the home is complete, let's say if that builder comes in, we approve them the first time if you're doing all 10 lots, but the abatement doesn't start on that 10th and final lot until it's completed, maybe 3 years later, and then they get
well,
that
it could be
3-year
it could be
abatement.
6 years later at that point. You gotta put, it's once again capping it at 3 years in order to say we need some of these developments now. Otherwise, if you approve them and they start that house and finish it 8 years from now, it defeats the
It
purpose.
defeats the purpose, right, but that's where I think it's important for us to fully understand when that abatement starts.
So maybe that's something, Don, you could, what can we do and what can't we
It
do? and when
can
can
be
we start?
abatement started when someone bought the house and that individual came before us and asked for abatement. Didn't have anything to do with the builder. We never gave a builder tax abatement. We gave the owner of the house.
Right.
Once they got their mortgage, moved in, they came before us and said, I'd like to have tax paid. Fine.
You know, and,
So
you
the
know,
builder's still paying taxes on it.
Right.
So if it sits empty for 6 months, the builder's still paying taxes.
Yeah.
The homeowner, once
It's
he bought it.
the homeowner that receives the tax payment, not, the builder doesn't have anything to do with it. I said, that's just an incentive to get the builder to build a house and get it sold.
Yeah,
you can decide 3 years now, and at the end of 3 years, if you want to extend.
Yes,
for
we
3
can,
Right,
right.
you can just do whatever you want to do, so.
Yeah.
You know, I think the 3 years is the teaser, you know, come in.
Mhm.
But, at the end of 3 years, you may want to do something different, so.
I just wanna make sure when we say 3 years, we have some clarity and we're all on the same page of understanding what that 3 years looks like.
3 years old infill lots may be used up.
Correct.
And you have to,
hopefully.
That's the goal, right?
I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of lots out there once you start looking, especially what the city got and bought and sold and so on, or acquired. It may be some of the people sitting on a lot next to them, if they want to do something they never have, that's where
Yeah.
you'll get an infill lot.
And that's where I'm gonna look for the GIS maps. See if
Well,
I can
and
do
we've
this.
had, prior on EDC, we gave 2 lots to, the people that build small houses, I can't think of the name of the corporation. But anyway, they've got the lots for sale,
Oh, we talk about habitat?
yeah.
I just met with the people that bought the habitat lots Monday,
Okay.
and I was looking back through there, and it says the city of Butler owned the ones on Green Street, and then it went from the city of Butler to the Butler RDC,
Yes,
and then from Butler RDC, it went to Habitat.
yeah,
Andrew's gonna look that up. I told the builder that I wanna make sure that the RDC did not give the lots to Habitat with the intentions it's free as long as you build a house on there. Because if that's the case,
And if Habitat sold it subsequently without
profit.
fulfilling that for profit, that's not,
that should revert back to the city.
yes.
And when I said that to the builder, they got that look on their face. I said, I can't guarantee that, but it's worth checking
I
into.
can't either, because I was on that at that time, that we gave the lots to Habitat for Humanity. I don't, of course, I didn't know what any legal work was there yet. So I don't know if there's a codicil in there that says Habitat has to build on that
Was
property.
either 2016 or 18.
Jay,
that
would you still
transferred.
have any emails possibly about that?
What's the address?
No.
What are the addresses?
I don't know the address, but it's, East Green and Beach Street. 2 lots side by side on the southwest corner.
And who bought them, you know? I could look up to make sure it seems like there'd be something in the deed.
You would think.
Yeah, or it would be enforceable, but could be enforceable, but you don't, I'll look them up.
I got his name and address up
Yeah,
upstairs.
I can find out, I'll just go
Yeah,
down.
I would think at the time, Habitat for Humanity was building houses here. And we decided, hey, you know, why should the city maintain it? We'll give it to a non-profit and let them build that.
Yeah.
1 or 2 houses, but nothing's happened.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time Habitat's built a house in DeKalb County. I bet it's,
It's been a while.
hasn't been since I've been here, I know of.
If they just gave up on the
Yeah.
county, or, I don't know, I'm sure there's still a need in our county.
Oh, yeah.
There may still be a need here in Butler.
Their offices in Auburn, yeah.
Yeah.
Walk down that, I walked in before. I don't know if the same lady's running it or not.
Was Mary Ann Stanley.
Yeah.
She still is.
See there.
Do you mind doing that? Cause that's, I mean,
No.
you're well equipped for that.
I would think they probably thought there is a need, and that's why they sold it, or whether they're needing some funding. I don't know whether their funding gets cut short too, and they're looking to,
Actually, I think they built one built one in, here.
did it?
I haven't seen them as active as they once were.
No, they're not very active anymore.
Well, there's nothing else, I'm gonna get Stuart here.
We'll have the president call for adjournment.
Take a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Bye. Yeah, you'll contact us as far as the next meeting.
And you'll email us, right, for the next